now.
1, 2, 3, do it.
Lose the Radio on Facebook. Home to all your favorite shows. Start your week out Sunday nights at 9 Eastern with Digital Influence Live with Sweezy. DGenX Radio Tuesdays and Thursdays at 8:30 Eastern. JTF 22 Radio Wednesdays at 8:30 Eastern. And coming up in August, Nothing's Off the Table. The title says it all. Just go to facebook.com/lose the radio. If you want to support the network or even be a sponsor, check out patreon.com/lose the radio for more information. Tonight's show is brought to you by Atlas Arsenal LLC, 217 Route 6, Milford, Pennsylvania, for all of your firearms, ammunition, accessories, and gunsmithing needs. And Iron Bean Coffee, ironbeancoffee.com for all your caffeinated needs. If you're not drinking Iron Bean, you might as well drink out of the toilet. It's also brought to you by BlueLineFarms.com, www.bluelinepharms.com. When you order from Blue Line, enter the promo code LTR20 to get your Lose the Radio discount. It's also brought to you by Coat of Arms Custom Gun Coatings in Milford, PA, 845-656-4925. Check out their website, www.coatofarmsgc.com. Custom Duracoat work on firearms, insulated tumblers, gaming controllers, etc. They're an 01 FFL and can perform firearms transfers. Check them out.
We are controlling transmission. We are controlling transmission.
You're listening to Nothing's Off the Table, the podcast where nothing, well, almost nothing, is too taboo to discuss. On Nothing's Off the Table, we give anyone and everyone a say. We may not agree with or even like the topic, but we're happy to give you a voice, listen to your perspective, and maybe even offer our own. Nothing's Off the Table is a Madsis Productions podcast. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, and on iTunes. Also, be sure to check out our sponsor, Locust Ridge LLC.
Yo, what's up, everybody? So, Andy here with Nothing's Off the Table, and I feel like it's Easter. I really do, because resurrected from the fucking dead is none other than Creepy Uncle Chad.
Hello, and thank you for having me back. And I appreciate all the incredibly fucking bright lights you have here in the studio. The place looks amazing.
Thank you. Thank you very little. Tonight's guest is a gentleman, and I use that term extremely loosely. This guy I've known, Jesus, for fucking 20 years or so now. And I remember when he's a wee little lad. Oscar Mike is what we're calling him, but his real name is Marvin, and I'm not going to put your last name out there unless you want to. But Oscar Mizaik, welcome to the show, brother.
Hey, thanks for having me on, Andy. It's great to meet all of you gentlemen, and I'm very excited to get this show started.
Yeah, I bet you are after that fucking goat rope we experienced about 10 minutes ago.
God. I thought the intro went really, really well.
Vinny, what's up, my brother?
Nothing. Just loving life here in the smokehouse.
Don't think I forgot about you. So Vinny is our fill-in co-host when Creepy Uncle Chad can't be here, which is a lot. But Vinny, welcome as usual for your
Thank you.
Yeah, your second show in a week. Holy shit. All right.
I know. I'm gonna have to go union soon.
Oh Jesus, you ain't getting no money from me, fucker. So let's just dive right.
No money, just hand jobs. Please continue.
I'm here to be motivated.
Motivate. Well, you know, it's great that you say that, because our topic tonight is motivation with Oscar Mike. So, Marvin.
I know that because we told somebody about 7 times.
No. What's the topic? Can't remember the first word.
What was the first word again?
The fucking,
Oscar Mike?
The banjo neck's gonna start coming out here in about 2 seconds.
Motivation.
So let me ask you a question, man. Do you have to do math when you motivate people?
Do math.
So
I don't think so.
that's a loaded question.
I motivate the masses, but yeah.
It's a loaded question because every time we do math on the show, whether it's Nothing's Off the Table or DGen X or whichever show we're doing, Steezo has to drink. So, if you just want to throw something out there like 2 + 2, that's math. So you have a very interesting career, my friend. You started out in the Marine Corps, which is where we both met. We were 1st Battalion, 3rd Marines, lava dogs. And when I first met you, you were a young buck back then. So you was Go ahead.
Yeah. When we met, I was probably 19 years old. I was fresh out of boot camp and fresh out of school, and I showed up in 1st Battalion, 3rd Marines. I think it was probably around July-ish, August of '99 or something like that.
Damn, I really feel old now. But anyway, look at you. Was you a PFC when you first got to the battalion?
Yep, PFC E2.
Lance Corporal. You made Corporal. Did you make Sergeant before we left or no?
Yeah, I made Sergeant right before I left 1-3.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then you decided to get out of the Marine Corps, and you went to
school.
So what was your degree?
So I actually went to school while I was in. I when I was in between our deployments and when we were going to the field, I was going to school at Hawaii Pacific University. I was originally majoring in accounting. Then I switched to like government, like political science.
So you trying to be the man keeping us down then?
No, definitely not trying to keep you down. I'm trying to motivate you, brother.
Motivate. So then you graduated and you decided to cross deck and join the Navy.
Yeah. So, I got out of the Marine Corps. I finished my bachelor's right before I got out. And when I got out, I went to Central Michigan, got my master's or whatever. And then I decided to get commissioned in the Navy.
And you've already passed me up in rank, son of a bitch. I'm on that slow train to China. It's amazing.
But what you do is important. You have worth.
Thank you for that.
Very much so. Very much so.
All about motivation.
I can't promote either one of you cocksuckers.
Yeah.
Shut up. So let's talk about this motivation thing, this whole Oscar Mike. So explain Oscar Mike, because there may be several people that don't understand that.
Yeah. So so if you remember that show on HBO, it's called Generation Kill. It's about a bunch of Marines. They were going to the first, the Iraq War, the initial push through Fallujah, whatever. Mm-hmm. And they used to always say, I'm Oscar Mike. I'm on the move. So when I came up with my pseudonym, Oscar Mike means on the move, and then I added speak. So Oscar Mike speaks means on the move speaking, like speaking things into fruition, forward leaning and, forward speaking, just pushing forward.
Oscar Mike. So what drives you into motivating people?
So when I was in Afghanistan, I had a ton of troops. Our job was like to hunt down the IED makers, and I had to pump them up every time before we went out and tried to, hunt down those people who were blowing up our fellow brothers and sisters in arms. And so I used to give them these big motivational speeches, and they used to start filming me. A couple of the guys started filming me, and they started putting like little videos together, and they showed me like, hey, sir, check this out. This is you or whatever. They was like, you should really be a motivational speaker. And I didn't listen to them, but I started teaching a couple college courses as well. And some of my students said the same thing. And so I started making a couple of videos and throwing them up on YouTube, and they started getting a couple of views. And so I was like, you know what? Let me try this thing out. And so I built a website and got an Instagram, and the rest is history.
Was there a black couch involved in any of these videos?
A black couch.
Was there any casting?
Start with, may I see your ID?
No, none of that.
All right,
none of that.
All right. So, since you mentioned your Instagram channel, it's going to be a hard one for people to understand and get. I get it, especially for Steezo probably. But anyway, what is your Instagram channel?
At Oscar Mike Speaks.
Motivation.
Simple.
At-
Same thing with my YouTube and same thing with my Twitter. At Oscar Mike Speaks.
So are you making any money out of this?
I'll make a couple of dollars. I don't make any like real money. For the most part, I give away most of my services. I mentor young kids. I coach baseball, basketball, football. I work with troubled youth. Stuff like that. Right now is just mostly a hobby. I mean, I get a couple of dollars from YouTube and donations people give me if I come speak at an event or whatever. But I don't necessarily charge.
Well, I don't know about youth, but go ahead, Vinny.
What kind of events do you typically speak at?
Mostly kids events. So so I did like Toys for Tots. I've done church events like youth groups. I've done schools. I've done a couple of schools where I came to schools, talked to kids about the way I grew up in East Baltimore. So I talked to impoverished youth, group homes, stuff like that, where I reach out and just try to help people in my community.
You're not trying to turn this into a family show, are you?
No. We can get down and dirty or whatever you guys want to talk about.
I'm sitting here thinking, man, I know what you do as your day job. I'm pretty familiar with it. And I'm thinking, how's this dude got time to do all this? It's impressive. And that'll be the last compliment I probably give you this evening. But damn, dude, I don't know if you should call this motivation or just feel exhausted listening to Oscar Mike. One of the two.
Hey man, I appreciate that. Yeah, it definitely takes a toll. Like right now I'm in Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. I'm in training or whatever. But you make time for things you care about, just like all of us. Whatever you care about, whatever your passion is, you make time for it. And so it's my passion. Eventually, I'm going to do this full time. So right now it's just building blocks and building it up.
So how does your wife feel about spending all that extra time away when you're not away doing Navy things?
Well, I guess it'll be mixed reviews. I mean, she supports me and, what I'm trying to accomplish, but I think every wife wants all your time.
That's for sure. Anyway, so there was a message that came in. It says, who the fuck is Creepy Chad? Well, if you'd been paying fuck attention at the beginning of the show, you would have realized that Creepy Chad is the co-host. He is the co-host of Nothing's Off the Table.
I thought I was fired.
Well, you about to be. You keep this shit
Right.
up, I tell you. You're fired. But Chad also has an extremely busy daytime job when he has to travel quite a bit. And that's why we got old Vinny over there up in the corner there. What's going on over there, Sizzle Chad?
Taking up space.
Taking up space.
Taking
and
up a lot of space.
pretty bad when you
Almost can't see the flag back there.
I didn't know we only had 39 stars in that motherfucker.
Again, he's about to fucking explode. So, hey, speaking of Marvin, guess who we had on the show last week?
Who?
Somebody you know very well.
Somebody who was trying to motivate penguins to fly off a second-story balcony.
What the?
Yeah,
Was it Dennis?
No, it wasn't Dennis. It was
That's
Was it
story
Dennis?
now.
Angling?
no good
Was
old
it Corey
Gunny
England?
Steele.
Gunny Castillo. Oh man, that jarhead man. that whacked out mofo man.
Yeah, I got a little bit heated last week.
Oh,
One
really?
hour show lasted about 7 hours.
Yeah, it went a little bit long.
Oh wow.
He successfully pissed off, I don't know, just about the whole fucking audience. Yeah. But,
Wow.
yeah.
He had some opinions.
He's got several, and they're not very popular. But it was a good show because, believe it or not, he did not lose his shit. Yeah, that's impressive right there because
That's our fail.
Yeah, yeah, no shit. When he was active, man, that motherfucker lose his shit quicker than you could blink an eye.
Oh man, I remember one time he yelled at me or whatever. I don't know. I didn't do something he wanted me to do, and he told me to, hey, you go over there and put your nose on that tree and just stand there. So I'm just sitting there with my nose against a freaking tree for like a half an hour to this dude, told me that I can go my merry way.
We all motivate.
Nuts.
That's right. So speaking of motivation, that motivated you to keep your nose in the tree. But, so do you have a website? A website that you
yeah, I got a website. It's www.oscarmikespeaks.com. I actually have a blog on there as well. I'm gonna start blogging again. Since I was dropping so many YouTube videos, I stopped blogging, but I'm gonna start blogging again on my website probably in another week or so. So I cover all types of topics.
Let me ask you, what's probably your most successful case that you've had, or person that you've helped? This is what's called
yeah. So probably a guy that has been to jail several times. When he came out of jail, was looking for work. I kind of talked to him and helped him, write resumes, helped him get a job, helped him do budgeting, and then just constantly just feeding him inspiration to try to keep him out of jail so he doesn't come and put a pistol at one of our heads and take a little bit of change we got in our pocket. He's doing very well now. I continually send. So maybe about 2 years I've been mentoring him. About 2 years.
Still on the right path.
Yeah, he's still on the right path. He's still doing what he needs to do. I spoke with him yesterday. He's doing very well. Looking for more work, and then he's going to be looking into purchasing his first home, hopefully within the next year.
Oh, nice. So you kind of actually sort of know what you're doing then.
Yeah, a little bit.
All right.
Yeah, a little bit.
All right. What? So do you have any? Since we went the successful route, do you have anybody that you tried and just couldn't get through to?
Well, not necessarily doing the motivational thing, but probably at work, man. Some people out there just can't get right, man. No matter what you do to them or do for them, I should say.
Yeah. So I was going to ask you about how you take the things you do in your off time and how you apply that in a department setting, right? When you're on board, how do you apply that? Do you apply those same things to your sailors? I would guess, based on what you said and just my own experience, that some of it sinks in with some folks, and some people are just hard-headed and they're going to stay hard-headed, right? They have to want to get help, right? So I'm wondering, how well do your sailors respond to the same type of motivation you provide to the general public?
So if I had to be 100% honest, right, the sailors are most of the time the easier ones to reach. The harder people to reach are the more senior people, because they think they know everything. So you're dealing with, the more, senior folks, you got to really get them to buy in. So, I try to sit down with them, same thing, try to mentor them, try to show them. I lead more like from a leader model. Like some people say, I'm the leader, everyone else is the follower. I'm not making any followers, I'm making leaders. What I want them to do is be able to operate without me being around. So I try to mentor them to the point where they kind of know what I'm thinking, but I just want them to take action. And whatever they do, they just come back and feed me that information. If I don't like it, then I'll say something. If not, I want you to just continue to execute. I don't want you to sit around and wait for me to make all the decisions. I want you to make a decision, and we're going to live with it. And if we need to adjust, we'll adjust.
Fair enough. All right. Well, that's about all the time we have tonight.
Is your favorite? Is it your YouTube videos, talking to a group, one-on-one?
I like talking to the groups better. I like the group setting better. I think, I'll probably try to be a keynote speaker. I'm also a real estate investor, so I like going to the real estate investor meetups and talking to people as well. So yeah, I like that. And then the YouTube videos. I don't know. I kind of went off on a couple of YouTube videos. I had to scale it back. I had to take a couple down. I'm still in uniform, so I can't give all my opinions the way I would like to. But
Sure.
yeah, I really do like the YouTube videos.
So,
But to answer your question, the settings. Are more.
Do you ever get fired up at the comments on YouTube videos?
I just delete them because because I want to get fired up, so I'll just go ahead and delete it and just let it be water underneath the bridge. But in a couple of years when I retire, you people better watch out because I'm coming for you.
one thing
that would be like getting fired up on the douchebag comments on our group.
Yeah. One thing I've learned,
Oh,
I don't even read the comments. I don't delete them. I just don't even read them. I just let them go. People, that's the one thing about this show that I love. It's our platform that, nothing's off the table and you can say whatever the fuck you want. We don't have to agree with you. We don't have to like it, but we'll give you your fair share to say something. And, if there's stupid comments, I ignore them. I don't really give two shits about them.
I read them in relish.
That's a pretty good example of not having to agree with the guest.
Say again.
Last week's show was a pretty good example of not having to agree with the guest.
I'd say that was an excellent example. Gunny was up the chain, man. But
I bet.
So you motivate people, and eventually, when you do retire from the Navy, you're going to motivate people for a living. What motivates you?
I got two young boys who look at me as their superhero. And so sometimes, I'm tired or sometimes I don't feel like doing some of this stuff, but I want to show them the way. So, I think first and foremost, it's my kids, just trying to build a lineage for them. And then two, I just love it. I like motivating people. I like public speaking. I like helping others. I like seeing people go from, shit to fit, what I like to say. And I don't know, it just makes me feel good. And so that really motivates me. And then on my real estate investment side, I like money. So I like buying rental properties, renting them out. As long as people pay their rent, I got cash flow. That motivates me.
Yeah, cash motivates me too. But that's not the only thing. What was that Full Metal Jacket line? You show me some poontang, I show you a motivated Marine. Yeah, this is not a family show.
I see.
Figured that out.
Yeah, pretty quickly, huh?
Yeah. I figured it out when I met the producer.
Shout out to Real. So how long have you been in the Navy now?
11 years.
And how long were you in the Marine?
Years. Almost 9.
So 9 plus 11. If I'm not
almost
mistaken,
20 years. I'm coming up on 20.
If I'm not mistaken, that's math.
Somebody has to drink.
Yep.
Somebody has to drink.
So anyway,
There it is.
We talked about what motivates you and how you motivate people. And that's awesome. Hey, looks like our phone lines open, gents. Yep, phone lines are up. So if you have a comment, a question, if you just want to apologize for him having to know Gunny Castillo, give us a call in 859-667-4245. Phone lines are open. All right, don't call all at once.
If somebody needs to send Gunny a text, tell him to call in.
Oh, we should, huh? Fuck.
Don't do that.
Send him a
Don't
text,
do that.
tell him to call in.
And you reach for his phone.
I reach for the phone immediately. We'll get him. So he's probably too busy. What's that?
Call.
He's probably too busy fucking posting
Make him call.
Israel,
Anti-establishment.
anti-everything. That's all right.
Oh, yeah.
I should have told him before he came on the show to take his meds. That was my bad. That's all right.
Oh, yeah.
So, Vinny, what the fuck, man?
Yes.
You're awful quiet.
Oh, so I'm asking questions.
He's got a bunch of people on mic.
Oh.
Andy, that's actually my fault. Before the show started, I shut everything off over here, and I said to Vinny, I'm like, dude, there's 4 mics. It's going to get fucking crazy, so try not to stomp on everybody. And now he's just not talking. He's protesting.
I'm protesting. It's my silent protest.
All right. Well, cut his mic off again then. Fuck. So, we talked about what motivates you. So we talked a little bit in the pre-show show. You just got selected for a pretty big deal in the Navy, right? What are you getting ready to do?
So I'm getting ready to head to a unit in Little Creek to take command. It's a small boat unit. I'll be the commanding officer here sometime in the summer of next year.
You said unit, but when was the last time you talked to Anglin or Dennis?
So I saw Anglin a couple years back, right when he put on senior chief.
Mm-hmm.
So that had to be at least 3.5, and then he went on deployment, I think, with the Comfort, if I believe.
Yeah.
And then so I talked to him, when what happened to Benton.
Mm-hmm.
We talked then a little bit. I haven't spoke to Dennis, but I heard he was on the Comfort.
He is.
Yeah. So I'll look for him. I'll be in the Norfolk area in a month or so. So I'm gonna look for him when I get there.
Yeah, and they should be coming back fairly soon. But yeah, that man, fuck. I wish he wouldn't have brought up Benton. That was hard, man.
Yeah.
That was real hard.
Yeah, that was hard.
We had a friend that was a chief in the Navy, and he had done multiple deployments with special warfare. And I was in Japan at the time, and I was working the night shift. And I'd gotten a call from Corey, actually, and he told me that Kevin took his life. And it was really tough. Left a beautiful little girl behind, left his wife behind. And the hardest thing for me was that being in Japan, I couldn't get back. There was just no way to get back for any of that. So it was really hard. People talk a lot about closure and shit. So I didn't feel like I didn't get to have any real closure with them because I wasn't there for the service. I wasn't there for the funeral. But I did. I did get a chance to get back and see his wife and his daughter and his sister-in-law. So, man, it's weird how we were just in JTF 22 right before this show, and now we're rolling into this, and man, it rips that fucking scab right off all over again.
So I didn't know him,
Mm-hmm.
right? But right after that happened, I met his family through our mutual friend, right? So, what a beautiful family, and, and the pain in his daughter's eyes. I mean, that's rough. I mean, I didn't even know the guy, but absolutely just felt horrible for him.
It's crazy because right before I left Virginia to head to department head school, I'm in the gym or whatever, and I see this guy with this big old head, man. I was like, man, that dude looks like Benton, that big ass head, And so I walk over there, and sure enough, man, who's hitting heavy shoulders, man? It's Benton. I was like, man, scoot over, And we started lifting, and we're talking. I hadn't seen him in 7 years at that point, and we're talking like we just haven't seen each other in a day or so, And I was telling him like, man, I'm actually leaving in a week or so, blah 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 blah. And we kept in touch over Facebook and everything. And I was to Hawaii when it happened, and Corey had let me know or whatever, and that hit me because I don't know if Gunny talked about it, but the same thing happened with Sarusik. Remember Sarusik?
No.
Motor T? Yeah. Same thing happened with him. I was in Afghanistan, and who's in Afghanistan? Sarusik. He switched over to the Army. So we hung out in Afghanistan, and I left maybe a month from Afghanistan before him. I come back, Gunny, who you guys had on the show last week, was heading over to Germany because these like jumping out of planes. These guys go parachuting all the time. And on his way there, he found out the Sarusik, same thing that happened to Sarusik.
God damn. One of my favorite memories.
So you talk about motivation. You talk about motivation. That motivates me too, man. Like all our brothers, Doc Woods, Sarusik, Benson, all those guys, man. Benton.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? All those guys, man. That motivates me to, I was going to retire. That just motivates me to keep pushing. I had another friend of mine, Perry Jackson. He passed as well. And, it just motivates me to keep going, man. And so you want to talk about motivation, it's nothing like, thinking about those guys that came up with you.
What was that, Vinny?
Veteran assistance and suicide awareness, suicide prevention type stuff with veterans?
So I went to Portsmouth, and I went and sat in they had like a wounded warriors group, and I'd go and hang out there. I did that a couple of times. I probably should be doing that a lot more. Now that you bring that up, I'm actually going to write that down, put that on my to-do list or something that I need to go back and start doing again.
So one of my favorite memories about Kevin Benton, when he first started talking about wanting to go recon and wanting to go special forces, Kevin Benton was this just fucking yoked up motherfucker, right? Not any fat on this guy at all. Well, he didn't he didn't know how to swim at all. So he's like, "Hey, can you teach me?" I'm like, "Yeah, let's get in the pool." First thing I did is I grabbed that motherfucker and I drug him down to the deep end and I just held him there. And that motherfucker was flailing like a bitch. And we come up to the surface and he's all out of breath and freaking out. I said, "Brother, that's your first lesson. You got to get comfortable in the water before you can do anything. I don't care how good you can swim. If you're not comfortable in the water, forget about it." But there was a post in the room. Actually, it was from this fucking guy, Rail. That's who it was. He said, "I think we should have Creepy Chad and Vinny fight for the permanent co-host spot." I'm going to throw it out there.
I mean, is the winner really win?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think there's a winner.
Yeah.
Or the audience is the winner. That's who the winner is.
That's a good point.
But my money's on Chad. Sorry, Vinny. Love you, brother. But I've rolled.
No problem. I live for people to underestimate me.
I've rolled with Chad several times, and fucking he doesn't look like much, but he'll fucking yoke you up real quick.
I'll fucking blind you with my orange shirt.
I'm fucking seeing spots already.
That's because you're drinking. All right. So, funniest hazing story.
Douche Rail says loser has to stay. See how fast two guys can throw a fight.
All right,
did you even drink at the units?
Do what? What about my unit?
Shouldn't he be drinking?
Who, Chad?
Units. That's a math word. Units is a math word.
Oh, yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. There he goes. Yeah, unit.
You're keeping mine.
That's right. See, there he goes, motivating people again. He's motivating to keep your drinking strong there, Steezo.
There it
is. So
there you go.
Let's
live your life.
Funniest hazing story.
Hey man, I'm still in uniform. I want to continue to collect these checks for at least another year or two. I don't know if I can tell these stories.
Hey, wait. Let's jump in here. The producer in the background is going to jump in. Funniest alleged occurrence of hazing that you've heard about.
There you go. There we go. Allegedly.
So this
what
guy
had
I know.
I'm asking for a friend, by the way.
You might recall one of these. Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yeah, you might have one of these alleged stories. A story that I heard about of some NCOs. In Japan they have these typhoons all the time. It's a lot of wind or whatever, and you're restricted to the barracks. Allegedly, there may have been some NCOs that had like younger junior Marines, Lance Corporals and PFCs jump out of like second and third floor windows with like a poncho and try to see if they could fly. Well, allegedly, a couple of them may have gotten hurt. I don't know who did it. I don't even know, but that one was pretty funny.
That's been going on
around for a couple weeks.
So I got a completely different question for you, man. So the fact that you were both in the Marine Corps and the Navy, how long did it take you to get Marine smell off of you? Right. And I asked the question because the first time I really spent some time with Marines was on an LHD, and they embarked. And I remember looking over at one of my divos who was a prior Marine. And I said, dude, what the fuck is that smell? And he looked at me and goes, oh, sir, that's Marine. And just recently, I was on board the other end for a couple of weeks. And sure enough, there was that same smell again, man. And it just never goes away. You still got it, don't you?
You're right. Yeah, I still do. Every once in a while it comes out. I mean, once a Marine, always a Marine. And I definitely appreciate the Marine Corps for everything that they taught me. It really helped propel my life. The way that I'm able to stay organized and focus on what I'm doing and attention to detail is kind of like what I learned in the Marine Corps. But it did take me a couple of years to tone it down, especially, going from enlisted to officer as well. Yeah, that knife hand stuff, I had to cut that out because I'm already a bigger guy. And so people start using words like, I'm intimidated, things like that, So I had to tone it back a little bit. So it took me maybe, I think probably about 4 years, four or 5 years, really to tone it back to be more reserved like I am now.
So you get through those first 2 Divo tours and now you need to scale it back before you go be a department head.
Yeah, pretty much. Because on my Divo tours, I did 4 deployments. I did 2 on the ship, 2 on the ground. And that last one was a year in Afghanistan. And I was with a joint task force. Like I said, I'm hunting down IED makers. And so I came back, whacked out, to say the least. But yeah, I had to go sit down, get the help that I needed. And after that point, I learned a lot of tools to be a little bit more reserved. And so that helped me out a lot and put me on the right path.
Well, you're on the right show because we have a lot of tools here too.
So, hey, I know you talked about your kids. I'm going to ignore fat bald guy in front of me here, but oh no, I'm sorry. Anyways, you talked about, how your kids motivate you and money motivates you, right? How important is it, like when you're providing people these skills to teach them that organizational, how to do you write down your goals? Because I noticed you said something. You said, "Hey, let me write this down." Right? I say that shit all the time, but I never write it down.
Fucking senior officers.
Yeah. Easy.
That's why he's never on the show.
Shit, I missed it again.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious, what are the things that you teach? Do you teach people like that organizational things to help them stay focused on what's important?
Yeah. So what I try to teach people is, yes, write down your goals, your short-term and your long-term goals. Like me, I write down, I got 2 different books. So I got this book here. This is more or less like my short-term goals, like all the stuff that I need to do day to day. And this book, I usually put like my long-term goals. And I build a routine. A lot of people don't really realize that, like, the fight is really won in your routine and your attention to detail. Like your program. Like me, I get up in the morning, I work out, and I meditate. Then I do everything else. I don't look at my phone. I don't do anything. I get up, I work out, I meditate. Then everything else comes after that. Then I start going through my goals. Like, what do I want to accomplish today? What do I have to get done? What do I want to get done? And I try to teach people how to do those same things, how to actually build a routine to be successful.
So Nate, Nate threw into the room. Creepy Chad left out that he was highly attracted to the musk of Marine.
I don't think I left it out. I thought it was implied.
Somebody put a mirror under Vinny's nose. Holy shit. So basically what that smell is, for those that don't understand, that's sweat, frustration, raging fucking anger, and sexual
Hormone.
frustration.
And boredom.
That's
like
what
sex in
And
here.
CLP.
and CLB. Man. So my second platoon I was ever in, I was in the heavy guns platoon, and I had this one fucking man. He fucking I can't even make this shit up. He jerked off constantly with CLP. It was like his thing.
Damn.
And this fucking dude was the one that every fucking port that we hit fell in love with the whores out and wherever we were at. And same guy that
First of all, they're not whores.
No, these were straight up fucking
No, they're
whores.
not whores. They're misunderstood.
Oh,
they need proper motivation.
Well, yeah. Well, they were something, man. I'll tell you that.
Tell them to follow me on IG.
Yeah. But this guy, every fucking port, I was treating this dumb son of a bitch for fucking either the drippy dick or clappity yap. And every port, we had to send him to see the chaplain because every whore that he met, he wanted to marry. Hoorah, Marine Corps. I can't even make that up.
Those stories exist in every service, I'm certain.
Oh, I'm sure of it. But it was just the same kid in my platoon every fucking time. Every time.
I just seen a lot of those guys. I just seen McNeil, James, Gormany, Sims. I just seen a ton of those guys.
No shit.
That was the second time.
Stollard.
Well, I missed that one.
And that was the second time I got trapped.
Oh.
Hey, can I jump in here real quick?
Yeah, man.
Hey, Oscar, I just wanted to ask you. My father did 25 years in the Navy. So I grew up like back when he was old school, when they could still smoke pot, they could still grow beards, all that other stuff. And they had some interesting ceremonies. They had like the Blue Nose ceremony if you went above the Arctic Circle. They had your shell back, I think, if you went below the equator, that type of stuff. I'm kind of curious if you have any of those stories. Like, have you been through any of those ceremonies? I'm curious how much they've changed because, man, I remember the stories of way back when Pops went through all that shit. Like, they made him dress up and drag. They put him in big giant troughs filled with crabs and lobsters and shit. They were getting pinched. They're cracking raw eggs on them. All kind, like just the ultimate like alleged hazing. I'm just curious if that still has, if it's gotten more tame or if it's still just as entertaining.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Man.
So I mean, yeah. I went through the shellback. I went through the shellback ceremony. I'd probably say it's a little bit more tame now than when your dad went through. This ain't your daddy's Navy anymore. It's a little different, but it's still very entertaining. They still had us do a lot of crazy stuff. But you know what the first rule about Fight Club is, right? You don't talk about Fight Club.
I can attest to the fact that it has changed drastically over the years, and Chad can as well. It's like the fucking Disney version nowadays, basically.
So I would say I've crossed I think 4 times. First time was in 1989. Last time probably around 2002, and it was exponentially different. Right. There were still a lot of those very funny, entertaining, probably be funny to nobody but the people doing it type of things. Mm-hmm. But a lot of that stuff has changed. You know, I can remember vividly just people storing rotten garbage for months because they knew this was coming. And then they're going to put that shit in the trough. Right. Or you're going to wear it, one of the two. Allegedly.
Allegedly.
So,
Allegedly.
yeah,
Allegedly.
it's changed quite a bit.
Well,
It was also allegedly like a living game of asshole, but like instead of like the king, the queen, and all that other shit, there was like somebody was Neptune, and there were a couple of other different.
Neptune.
Like that, yeah.
eating the cherry out of King Neptune's belly.
No. Well, so King
I
Neptune
remember hearing
was
about
the
that.
biggest, fattest shellback on board.
Yep.
And they may have, I don't know, I hear, they may have buried a cherry in this fat bastard's belly button, and then they put like Crisco and shit all over his belly, and you got to go get it without your hands.
Yeah.
Right?
Way to break a TV stereotype.
Right? Hey, man, it is what it is.
Well, let me give you a great example of how it's changed. And a lot of it has to do with the current leaders that we have now. I crossed the line the last time in 2004. And my skipper at the time was so scared to death about getting in trouble, we didn't have a ceremony. So you talk about motivation. Well, he killed all motivation on the fucking yep. So yeah, I hope that answers your question, Rail. But not all of them are like that. This was just a very career-driven commanding officer, if you will. Dare I say, a ticket puncher. And he's out of the Navy now, so I don't give a shit. But yeah, he single-handedly killed all morale for the rest of that deployment. And this was just before halfway night. So it sucked.
Wow.
Okay. But this is also the same.
That guy sucks.
This is also the same commanding officer I literally carried over my shoulder out of a bar in fucking Spain, too. So,
Oh, wow.
That's a whole different story. But anyway, the phone lines are still open. If you want to call in and say hello or whatevers.
Yeah, call in and say whatever.
There we go. If you keep fucking with me, Mr. Producer, I am definitely going to call the good old Gunny and have him call in the show. Or maybe I'll call Stella. Wait, that was a smile and then he quit. Anyway. All right, so
You're excited. Feel these nipples.
So, all right. So, most favorable and worst memory of being in the Corps?
Best thing about the Marine Corps is the camaraderie. Just being with those same friends that, we had 20 years ago, still my best friends to this day.
Mm-hmm.
To this day. Like, I talk to McNeil all the time. I talk to James all the time. I saw Stollard in San Diego. I saw Sims. The brotherhood and the fraternity of being a Marine is second to none, I would venture to say. The worst, even the worst times were great times. I don't know if you went to Hokkaido with us. Were you out there?
God.
Man, we're in Hokkaido. What was it, like 3 or 4 feet of snow?
Mm-hmm.
And we were living 4 guys in a 2-man tent. So we're literally like, sausages inside of a tent, 2 dudes sleeping on top of each other pretty much. And it's like 0-degree weather. And we were out there for about a month, a little bit over.
It was crazy.
That was terrible.
Well,
and then you got to get out, you got to stay on your watch.
The first night that we got there, it was fine. And then overnight, we wake up to all this fucking snow on the ground.
All the snow, and it was like below 0. And it was just terrible. But at the same time, jarheads were going to find a way to make it okay. You remember that time?
That too, right? Palms and Andy snuggled up to you anyways.
Yeah, that place sucks too. But a funny story about we were in Japan. I don't remember if you remember. We were in Hokkaido, and the Japanese army. They invited us to use their bathhouse, or whatever. So the Japanese bathhouse is like almost like a pool. You're supposed to get in and dip and wash up or whatever. and they like roll out, right? Like
Mike,
you're supposed to.
no idea how bad it. Don't stop now.
Anyway, these stupid Marines, man, they don't know that it's a bathhouse and you're supposed to like take a shower and then jump in, this big pool like thing and jump out. These guys are jumping in butt ass naked, like swimming around in the freaking pool, and it's a freaking bathhouse. You're supposed to just get in, wet yourself and get out of there. And these idiots are swimming around. It was just freaking stupid. Then they started streaking. A couple guys got drunk. We started streaking. It was like snow outside. They're streaking. It was just too much. But even though it sucked, you always find something to make it fun.
So I remember when we came out of the field, they stuffed us in this fucking gymnasium, right?
Yeah.
800 fucking Marines crammed in this small ass gymnasium, basically on cots, but we're all on top of each other. And then we got oh yeah, it was horrible, man. And then on top of it,
oh yeah, it was horrible. It was horrible.
If you guys have ever been to Japan and used a true Japanese toilet, that's what they fucking had in that gymnasium. So it was a hole in the fucking ground that you had to squat over if you wanted to take a shit.
I just remodeled my bathroom and put one in.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
It's hot.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Motherfuckers stepping in it because they can't squat and shit, getting shit all over their boots. And
it's all over the place.
Oh, yeah. It was
terrible.
Amazing fucking smell. On top of the fact that, the showers are fucking cold. There's no fucking hot water. I don't know if you remember that. So motherfuckers
I remember.
Because they didn't want to fucking get in a cold shower and they were stinking.
Yep. They weren't sure. The uniforms were smelling because we couldn't wash our uniforms.
Right.
I was in Kuwait and I had to go see one of the comm guys in the MEU or the ops guys in the MEU, and I go walking through their tent, and I'm talking. I go trying to find the S2, right? I find him. He's standing at his desk. He's got a can of Lysol, and he's spraying himself down with it. I'm like, Ralphie, dude, what the fuck you doing? Taking a shower. You nasty. Jesus Christ.
That's terrible.
And then we finally get our first night of liberty. You remember that? We had
I remember it.
Left and right in that fucking
gym.
I remember being so fucking drunk, and they came to get me. I don't remember who it was because one Marine split another Marine's eye pretty fucking good. And I don't know if you remember our two fucking worthless ass doctors who were never around.
Oh yeah, I remember those dudes. Yeah.
So here I am. I'm trying to sew this guy's fucking eye with one eye closed so I could actually fucking see straight a little bit. I was pretty impressed with that one. It wasn't too fucked up. It was pretty good though. And then remember Hard Knock?
Yeah, I remember Hard Knock.
That stupid motherfucker. So we're in Mount Fuji, and this dumbass rolls a home. I mean, he was fucked up, right? We had to airlift his ass out. That's how bad he was. And so we ended up having to leave him back in Tokyo at the hospital there when we left because he was still in the ICU.
Wow.
And a couple months goes by, and this motherfucker calls the BAS. After, of course, he'd been medically discharged and everything. BS is Battalion 8 Station, for those that don't know. And he's like, hey, guys, this is Hard Knock. I just let you know, doing okay, and things are good. And we're like, damn, man, we're glad to hear you're okay. And everything's going good for you. He goes, yeah, fuck you guys. I'm fine. And he hangs up. That was hard. But you're right. There's some factor to it, but it's always you just you look back on it with fond memories.
Yeah. Who was that? What company went to Korea? Remember when we were on that deployment? Somebody went to Korea. Was it Charlie Company? Went to Korea.
Was this when 9/11 happened?
Yeah. Somebody went to Korea.
Yeah.
And did you hear about the guys? They were in a club, and I guess what's his name? Deuce Bigelow, Rob Snyder. That's his name.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you hear about one of the guys slapping Rob Snyder or something like that when they were in Korea?
I
think it was a Charlie Company guy.
I would have pinned a medal on his fucking chest.
It wasn't a company. It was a debt. I was with that.
It was the debt. Yeah.
It was the fucking
Yes.
the air officers. We were supposed to be working CAS training with the Rock Marines, and so it was just a small group. It was 81s.
Yeah.
81,
Mortimer.
yeah, stupid motherfuckers, man. And that was crazy too because 9/11 was happening. You know, I'm sitting there in a bar fucking watching it on TV, and this is the rated fucking G version. Of course, this is all BC before Connie, so I'm not going to get too in depth on that. But I see it on the TV, and I run out to the van, and do you remember Skippy, our one air officer? I can't remember his last name, but
I remember.
blonde haired dude, flew Harriers,
Short haircut.
yeah, short haircut, high and tight.
Yeah, blonde hair, short hair. Yeah, sure. Yeah, I remember that dude.
Yeah, wore camis.
It smelled like a Marine.
Anyway, I ran
like
out there-
CLP.
yeah, I ran out there telling myself, well, we need to get back to base because something happened to the World Trade Centers, and you know, I'm never a smart ass. I'm always, you know, on the up and up. And he's like, yeah, whatever, Doc, fuck you. So I get in the van. I'm like, no, really, we got to get back. And then I don't remember who it was. It was one of the staff sergeant. Was it Worrell maybe? I don't remember. Anyway, he runs out and he's like, hey, sir, we got to get back to base. And he listens to that fucker and ignores me. So, yeah, we better get back to base. So we pull up and they had fucking 250s mounted at the gate, and the gate was closed. And that gate's never fucking closed, right? Hey, do you remember Ricardo Tubbs? He wasn't. Yeah, he just joined us. What's up there,
Ricky?
Pretty Ricky. But so yeah, they closed. They had the gate closed, and that gate was never closed. And so we're in the fucking in the CO's office, basically watching what all is going on. And it was she was a lieutenant colonel, freaking the fuck out. She's like, the North Koreans are coming over, blah blah, and just fucking losing her shit, right? And I remember Skippy, I'll never forget, he's like, ma'am, shut the fuck up. And she's like, and he was a captain at the time, you know, so it was just fucking crazy, man.
Man, remember Captain Kish?
How could I forget Captain Kish, man?
Man, that's
I
one
knew
crazy
Captain
mofo
Kish.
too, man.
I knew him when he was a PFC in weapons company with me in 1-3, my first tour.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, he's out the Marine Corps now.
That was quite a few years back.
Yeah, man.
Ricardo says I am sexy. Anyway, crazy times. All right. So since we covered that ground, let's move on to best and worst times so far in the Navy.
Best times in the Navy. I could probably say my mobile security. I went to a Mizron 4 for my second Divo tour, and I was a part of the aviation security team. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, our job was to, you know, fly around with all the VIPs, so a bunch of different generals and admirals as they fly in and out of like Ethiopia, Djibouti, Ramstein, Italy, Spain. And so, you know, we deploy over to Rota, and then we get our missions from there. Mm-hmm. And we would go out on embark security teams on like the MSC ships to protect them from pirates, or we would go out on the aviation security teams. And so I got to do a ton of different missions, like I said, in like Ethiopia, Djibouti, all over like the whole 5th Fleet and 6th Fleet area.
Too, man.
Yeah. but it was pretty cool because to be so junior, I was taking teams out, you know, by myself, and every decision that was made was mine. Mm-hmm. And I really liked that. Even more than my department head tour. On that tour, whatever I said went. That time and Afghanistan, because when I went to Afghanistan, I was in the Navy, and again, I was leading a team, you know, a task force biometrics, same. Worst time in the Navy, you know, ship life. It can get pretty bad, especially when you're going through those heavy rolls out there on a destroyer. I've only been on destroyers, And so, you get those heavy rolls and like half the ship is down. And if you're not down, you're standing all the watch.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been plenty of times where like, I'm one of the only people who's not getting seasick. And I don't know how I don't get seasick being a, Marine and then coming over to the Navy. But for some reason, I'm able to keep it together. And I just stand a lot of watch. And then the, worst time too for me in the military is, as far as the Navy is, the Navy is a little bit different than Marine Corps because everybody thinks they have an opinion in the Navy. Everyone thinks they get an opinion, I guess you would say, in the Navy. Marine Corps, you tell somebody what to do, you tell them to charge the hill, they say, I sergeant, and they're moving.
Mm-hmm.
You tell someone in the Navy, hey, I need you guys to take care of this. Whoa, 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 whoa. I'm not qualified to do this. How fast do you need me to do this? Why can't we do this later? Actually, that's really not my job. That's Bobby's job. It's like, I had to get used to that. You know what I mean? I had to learn to lead a little different because the Navy is just a little different when it comes to that. So that I had to really kind of like the question I was asked previously about, having to adjust. I had to really adjust. So that was a bad time for me as an ensign and JG. That it just drove me crazy. I used to be in the semio survey every time, like,
Well, and that's what you said the first 4 or 5 years that you were in, right? It took some adjusting.
Yeah,
right.
Took some adjusting. They're like, first lieutenant is off the chain.
Hey, can we open the phone line back up? Because I would love for Ricky to call in. Can we do that?
Well, waiting for Ricky. Oscar Mike, of all the countries you went to, from a civilian perspective, what was your favorite?
Easy.
I heard someone say easy. It's so many. I gotta be careful what I say. Spain. I love Spain. I love Spain. Yeah, Spain.
Creepy Ted, what's your answer to that question if it's easy?
Pre-marriage, Australia. Post-marriage would be actually St. Petersburg, Russia. Was amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Ricardo, 859
Estonia as well. I like Estonia as well. Yeah.
Yeah, Latvia.
Estonia. Latvia is okay. Half of Latvia is like decapitated buildings.
Oh, dude. So I was there for 2 weeks doing a NATO thing, right? And where I'm staying is at like this 5-star hotel, and we're taking a bus to where we're working every day, and we're driving by blown out buildings. And the building we're working, when you're walking up the stairs, you had to stay to the left because the right side of the stairs had just fucking crumbled and fallen apart.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck is this? We're walking through some hood shit, and then you walk into the building is brand new. Crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So, Ricardo.
Yeah, I went to Vince Fields back in like 2008 or 9. Yeah, same thing.
Yep.
Same thing.
Ricardo throws in the room. Worst time in the Navy was when Chad Ham forgot the oath of office when he promoted him.
Hey man, I was. So all right. First of all, fuck you, Ricky, because you're not here to choke shit out of me. What happened tomorrow? So here's the deal, man. Our buddy Ricardo and I got promoted on the same day. He got promoted to 04. I got promoted to 05. A friend of ours had gotten promoted 5 months earlier to 05. So that dude, all of us do jiu-jitsu together, right? So we did it at the gym. And our buddy promotes me, and I turn around and I'm promoting Ricardo. And I'm like, I'm dazed on the fact that I just got promoted to 05. Well, hold on, man. Let me fucking finish. All right, let me finish my version of the story before you start running your fucking mouth.
I just joined this.
Man, I gotta look at shit now.
Go ahead, Ricky.
Go ahead. No, go ahead, Chad. Carry on. Smartly, sir.
So, anyways, man, I've given this oath. I've probably given the officer oath probably 30, 35 times, right? I drop sync on that shit. I'm just staring at it because I've just been, I'm like, what the fuck just happened? And I'm just looking at it blank. My buddy's got to come up and whisper it in my ear. I completely away. But thank you for bringing that up, Ricky.
Yeah, so I want to explain to you why he
took the obligation freely.
Officer's oath. So what had happened
What's
was
that?
I was teaching how to do this cross choke in class,
What happened?
and I put Chad to sleep.
That did happen. That's true.
Right after, but this is my story. I'm just stick with it.
That did in fact.
Oh, Andy, you didn't know I put Chad to sleep while I was teaching the cross choke?
No, you didn't tell me that one.
I never told you that, did I?
No.
Oh yeah.
I know he did that shit on purpose.
You're breaking up a little bit, man.
What he's getting at, man, there's like 35, 40 people in class, right? He's demonstrating a choke, and you know how he gets long-winded, right? So he's got a choke on me, and he's sitting there pontificating about something. And next thing you know, I'm fucking out. He lets go, and I'm like, he's like, "Oh shit, were you out?"
First off, I wasn't pontificating on anything. Chad's over there, and he's like, "What happened? What happened? What happened? What happened?" All of a sudden, he turned into Tyrone's homeboy, Ashley Larry, right? And he was out.
That's too funny.
So
what's going on? What's going on?
No, but I mean, I just saw that you guys were having this podcast. I felt like I should be in there. I saw some of my boys in there. I figured I should, join the crew.
That's why we gave you the number to call in. So, ladies and gentlemen.
Actually, you know what? And I don't mean to kill the mood, but we were talking about KB earlier, right? I don't know if Cardo caught any of that.
No, I think you came in late for that.
No, I didn't. I was busy teaching jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. Do you want to mention because we were talking about Kevin, and do you want to mention the foundation that you started for him?
Yeah, I mean, we started the KB1 Foundation, and the whole goal behind the KB1 Foundation was to get a coalition of people together, specifically jiu-jitsu martial arts academies, that would just offer one scholarship to somebody with any PTSD or suicidal ideations to pass, so that jiu-jitsu could kind of help them recenter their chi, so to speak, which, every time I ever came back from deployments, jiu-jitsu was always there for me and kind of made me normalize. So we took a little bit of a step back, mostly because I just didn't want us to end up like some of these military organizations that start out with good intentions and then they're all about money. Like, as soon as I opened up KB1, like, I had people offering me money left and right, and that's not what it was ever about. It was about getting people together, grassroots. There's probably thousands of jiu-jitsu or martial arts academies all around the country, and if each of them gave one active duty member, police officer, whoever with some kind of PTSD or suicidal ideations, an opportunity to train jiu-jitsu and then help them, we could save thousands of lives a year. So it was never about money. There was never any need for money. It was just about people coming up and getting people some help when they need it. Because, medication is great, therapy is great, but mat therapy is one of the best. So that's what it was all about. We took a little bit of a step back just because administratively, we just really didn't have a lot of time to get people motivated. But I retired from the Navy. My last day working should be June 11th, and then we'll go back full power again with the KB1 Foundation. It should be great stuff. But again, no need for any money. Don't want any money. Don't need any money. We just need people to volunteer, one scholarship a year, and I think that's the best thing in the world.
Well, we just hosted a show right before ours here. It's called JTF 22-0. And I was actually going to hit you up either tomorrow or the next day about that. I'd like you to come on the show and talk about that. So, but I'll talk to you more about that offline.
Well, if you ask me, I'm going to be a dick. I'm going to tell you that the 22 cry is a farce because I am an epidemiologist. We certainly have lots of people every day killing themselves, taking their own lives, which is terrible. But unfortunately, those 22 a day numbers are it's kind of skewed. It's not really 22 a day. But we can talk about that too if you wanted to.
Yeah, you're right on that, but it's become almost a household phrase, if you will. And
I get it. I get it, but you know what? If we're gonna spread information, let's spread the right information.
I agree.
One of those things. If you see on like the KB1 Foundation logo, it says "one is too many," right?
Mm-hmm.
We don't really need to kind of tell somebody that oh my goodness, because it's kind of like spreading mass hysteria propaganda. Yeah, you don't want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's spread the right word. Let's really tell everybody what's really going on. But let me tell you the truth. I work at Naval Medical Center Portsmouth, and I can't even begin to tell you the things that I see every day. So is mental health and suicidal ideations or any type of mental health an issue? Absolutely it is. But let's make sure we spread the right information. That's just the way I feel about that. And I've just hopped off of my soapbox.
So what is the correct number? Do you know?
You know what? There have been several numbers that has been spread out, specifically from active duty, between anywhere between 1 and 3 a day. But if you look across the spectrum, of people, that particular study that was done was a little bit of a different study, and definitely a very skewed study. But, the numbers that we see are closer to 1 to 3 per day, which is still far too many of active duty or veterans.
Uh-oh.
I don't know what that noise is.
Hang on just a minute. Hey, Ricky, let us let you go so we can give somebody else an opportunity to jump on. But stay in the room. Caller.
He's gone.
Caller, you're on the air.
There's no caller right now.
Oh, they hung up too?
Yep.
Well, shit. There you have it, sports fans.
He hung up on both of them.
So, hey, I'm going to ask you, I want to go back, Marvin, if we can. I want to go back to, you said something. So you had some struggles when you were a JO, right? When you were an ensign, or your first Divo. Right. So I know for a fact that sometimes motivating JOs, especially after they've been there about a year, right? That first Divo tour, and they're just feels like they're just getting beat like dogs, right? The stuff never stops. How do you keep them motivated, man? What do you tell them? I'm a brand new ensign, just showing up to your command. What are you telling me?
So initially when they show up, you tell them, oh yeah, stay on your quals, stay motivated. You kind of, to be 100% honest, you give, at least I did, right? I didn't do very well at this, hindsight being 2020. I just give like a generic, yeah, stay on your quals. Let me know if you need anything. Time you should be here type. That was my first year, but I was getting my face kicked in like my first year, my department work. As I started to mature more and start being used to having to, continually mentor this, I would meet with each of my Divos at least once, just their time, and we talk about whatever they wanted to talk about. Now, throughout the week, I would always, try to grab one or two of them teach them something, show them something, go down to different spaces and show them, hey, this is why this is this, this is why that is that. How's your relationship with your chief going? You know, things like that. But that mentorship session that I sat with them once a month, I would have about 4 or 5 things I wanted to talk to them about. 1 or 2 of them would actually be pertaining to their job, but the other 3 or 4 were literally just about their lives and how are they transitioning from college to their position now. Or if they were prior enlisted, how are you transitioning from being a second class or a first class or a chief to now, you know, being in the ward room or whatever. And towards even the end of my CSO tour, I started sharing with them lessons, more and more that I had learned. Looks like, you know, here's your ship and turn that ship around. They sound easy, but when you actually read them, a lot of great in there. And just have a couple copies that I would give out to my Divo, tell them to read. I would just give them a chapter, read this chapter and let's you know, talk about it or whatever. And then when I was leaving, a lot of people really appreciated it. I was the only department head who was doing it, and they really appreciated it. I actually just took time to show people that I cared.
Somebody threw in the room. I wish Oscar Mike would motivate a better internet connection.
I mean, I'm back on,
real?
so I think we're good.
For real? Is my internet?
I'm sorry, that shit was funny. I don't care what you said.
And Nate in the room wants to know if any of y'all seamen.
Yeah, I
What's that, Vinny? Go ahead.
Nate threw out there if he wants to know if any of the seamen had to mop the poop deck.
I'm gonna mop his fucking poop deck. Leave him sticky,
what
broken.
kind of question is that?
So anyway,
Yeah. Well, hey, listen.
Yeah.
I'm super happy that you came on the show, man. Very happy to have you as a guest. I'm super happy to have creepy Uncle Chad back as well.
creepy Uncle Chad.
Yeah, we've covered quite a lot, and I really need to throw out into the show. I'm glad Vinny's here, although he really needs to shut the fuck up, man. You're talking way too much tonight.
Just a fucking chatterbox. You load the show with your buddies, and then you know, I get to sleep here and watch.
Well, you're fucking part
Nap
of
a
it,
little
you dipshit. You got a microphone sitting right there.
You must be an expert. You got a microphone in front of you.
A big one at that.
Damn, I'm leaving that one alone.
Microphone in there.
Perfect.
Damn.
I just,
That's usually how it starts, with intoxication.
So Ricardo actually brought up a good point that it's not 22 a day. It's more like 1 to 3 or whatever. But I think that's math, if I'm not mistaken.
No. Listen, any active duty person or veteran who feels the need to take their own lives, any one is far too many. I think that the cry that came out for 22 a day was great. It drew a lot of attention to military, active duty, and veteran suicide. But let's face the fact that suicide is a huge problem in any community in the United States.
It is, but
I think suicide.
I have to explain.
Suicide
Yeah.
is one of the top 10 leading cause of death. I mean, I the next time I come on, I can give you all the statistics. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about statistics for suicide in the United States. Are you going to kick me off again?
Real quick, I just need to tell you that when I brought that up, it is a very important problem. But what you're not understanding, because you came in late, is that anytime math is brought up on the show, hey, do you have a dog, Steezo? Anytime math is brought up on the show, Steezo, our producer, has to drink. So that's why that was brought up.
Wow. Yeah. Well, you know, anyway, next time I come on, we can talk about statistics about suicide and all that stuff. But in prevention, in work towards helping people, prevention helps by getting people mentally healthy. That's why prevention helps. I think one of the biggest things I ever remember about suicide prevention, one of the greatest greatest conversations I ever heard. You guys ever hear the guy who jumped off of the Golden State Bridge and survived?
Yeah.
Yes, I did hear about him.
Yep.
He jumps off the Golden State Bridge and he survives. And halfway down, he thinks to himself, "This is the worst decision I've ever made in my life." And so he survives. He goes on to talk about, he goes on to, it's something really life-changing for people. He goes on to talk about how much he realized halfway down that he wanted to live. And he did, with a lot of broken bones. But anyway, it's an interesting kind of video I think people should watch. It should be mandatory.
Yeah, I agree. And I want to end this note not on a depressing note, but I want to actually say what Chris Simpson threw out in the rim that says, "Then he looks like a fat transgender Princess Leia."
We can talk about me.
Yeah, I'm glad that there's something new going on.
If you'd like to.
God.
Yeah, we'll say that for a different show, man.
Didn't you do that show a couple weeks ago?
Let's talk about something important. Can we talk about something less depressing than this? What do you guys want to talk about?
Yeah,
you guys seen my son? He's a good-looking dude.
Caller, you called in about 45 minutes too late. We need to talk about the outro.
Yeah.
Yes,
we're wrapping it up
now, so we can keep this going. Let's think about who's important here. Okay, Leia.
Show you hoser.
All right. Well, let's wrap this up. Chad, thanks, brother. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, man.
Real quick, I want to hit our sponsors. I want to say thank you to BlueLineFarms.com. That's PHARMS.com. Atlas Arsenal, IronBeanCoffee.com, Cliff Park Golf, Coat of Arms gun coating for your pew pew pews, and LocustRidgeDesign.com for all your graphic design needs, big or small. Let's kick this pig and roll it on out.
Before we do, Oscar Mike Speaks at Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
I was going to say, Andy, next time let the guest have the last 30 seconds to plug his, what he did. What he does.
Ricardo fucked that up for him.
No, Oscar Mike, thanks for coming on, brother.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. I really appreciate it, man. This was fun. I gotta do this more often.
You're welcome back anytime. Let us know when you want to be on. You let Andy know when you're on, buddy.
I appreciate it, man. You look like you had some good stuff over there.
You don't worry about what I'm smoking over here. You just stay over there. Stay over there and stay. You stay in the ocean and protect me.
I think we heard about what you were smoking during the first intro.
Yeah, that's why you fucked it up.
Hey, fair enough. Fair. Hey, I will eat shit when I should eat shit, and I just ate shit.
Who owns the gun store?
Rail.
That would be me. The guy who you said earlier looks like a prepper.
Prepper? Yeah, you look like you own a gun store. What's your gun store again? Let me write this down.
Atlas Arsenal LLC on Route 6 in Milford, PA.
You got a website or something?
Nope, you just got to go
there. He doesn't even have an address. He's got fucking grid coordinates to his place.
It's actually 79.
What's going on over here?
We'll send you.
Buy a gun. I got to come all the way to freaking Pennsylvania.
No, they can ship it. We
79 Pontiac with a big trunk.
No.
You got to at least show me what you got, brother.
Andy will forward you the phone number to the owner of the company, and you guys can work it out from there.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Word.
Okay.
All right, boys.
Yes, sir, brother.
Let's take it.
I wish I knew how to quit you.
You've been listening to Nothing's Off the Table, the podcast where no subject is too taboo to discuss. Find us on iTunes, Facebook, and on Instagram. Be sure to check out our sponsors, Locust Ridge LLC. Nothing's Off the Table is a Mad Sis Productions podcast.